Concept of United Nations modus operandi as conceived on the basis of review of the presentation. The concept of United Nations modus operandi is inferred as follows, like the way how UN aspires to intervene for improving the standard of living of the peoples across the globe. Like if there are war, UN aspires immediate ceasefire because there are associated threats and vulnerabilities to the life of the people due to the war. Hence, UN principally aspires immediate ceasefire. Like if there are notion of agitation and news are reported to the UN that civilians are revolting or they are expressing their concerns into the form of a strike or agitation. So, if there are notion of agitation, UN aspires to accomplish their desire. Those are reasonable according to the frameworks and provisions provided by their respective constitutional mandates. If there are natural catastrophe, UN aspires for disaster risk mitigation. Like if there are natural catastrophe, UN aspires for disaster risk mitigation, so that the related risk and loss to the life of the people and their vulnerabilities could be managed properly. UN aspires for disaster risk mitigation, so that safety and security of the people could be ensured. If there are disputes regarding conflict of interest of involved parties, UN aspires for preventive diplomatic mediation. Like if there are disputes regarding conflict of interest, one country is aspiring to something else and the other one is aspiring to something else. It may create conflict of interest that may lead to the eruption of disputes. So, if there are disputes regarding conflict of interest of involved parties, US aspires for preventive diplomatic mediation, like those mediation by understate or like regulatory bodies, diplomats, executive applications, like foreign ministers, minister of foreign affairs, so that they can identify the issues regarding disputes, so that they can mediate. Mediate the purpose in diplomatic manner is to prevent further eruption of the upcoming conflict or threat or its may be resolved peacefully. So, if there are disputes regarding conflict of interest of equal parties, UN aspires for preventive diplomatic mediation. So, if there are scarcity of resources or food and water crisis, UN aspires for immediate humanitarian assistance. So, these mediation are effective during humanitarian crisis. If there are scarcity of resources, so UN aspires for humanitarian assistance to immediate and humanitarian mediation. And UN aspires for preventive diplomatic mediation so that the the clarification of sources of diplomatic preventive diplomatic mediation is achieved. In source of diplomatic preventive mediation, UN aspires for clarification and implementation of diplomatic preventive diplomatic mediation. So, clarification of diplomatic preventive diplomatic mediation. If there are instances of emergencies, UN aspires for humanitarian mediation. If there are environmental emergencies related with climate change, UN aspires for suitable framework and treaties implementations. So, environmental emergencies are part and parcel of life due to the nature of the change of the climate and seasonal variations due to the movement of sun and rotation of earth. So if there are appearance of environmental emergencies related with climate change, UN aspires for suitable framework and treaties implementation so that the related provisions could be provided for mitigation of the associated risk and vulnerabilities to ease the conditions for survival of the peoples. If there are violations of sovereignty of member states, UN aspires mediation for regulation and peace reconciliations, like disputes related with violations of sovereignty of any nations or member states are reported to the United Nations. UN aspires appropriate mediation so that the regulation of the behavior of the parties accused for violating the sovereignty of other member could be regulated and the related agreement could be framed and implementations so that peace could be reconciled. So if there are violations of sovereignty of member states, UN aspires mediation for regulations and peace reconciliations. If there are probabilities of ignorance of stake of any nation, if there are probabilities of ignorance, what of a stake of any nation, like their interest, their stake, their deprivation need to be acknowledged. They acknowledge the deprivation of the respective member states and aspires for correspondence and communication. The correspondence and communication required for ensuring proportionate representation. And the proportionate representation could facilitate for paying attention to the stake of the nation so that the respective rights could be protected. So if there are probabilities of ignorance of stake of any nation, UN aspires for correspondence and communication for ensuring proportionate representation and solidarity of confidence building measures enforcement are the core values of United Nations. Reference is the recent brief by United Nations with different topics is given here. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. A very happy new year.